Welcome to Even Odds.
Hello.
A video podcast thing that we're figuring out as we go along.
We're doing it.
We're doing this.
Live.
Not really. This is pre-recorded. But
We're
anyway,
here.
yeah.
We're here again with Curio.
Yeah. So we did an unboxing last night, and Matt promises me that people watch unboxing
People
videos.
watch them. I'm telling you. People watch them. They're big.
Okay.
They're big.
Well, anyway, we haven't played this one a super ton, so it's definitely not an old favorite or anything.
No, but it's new.
But it's new.
Like
and,
super new,
yeah.
actually.
And it has a lot of cool parts and pieces, which is good. It has that sort of like differentness to it, which is always...
It's a big multiplayer puzzle thing. That is...
You can play with up to 5 people.
Okay. Woo! So...
I didn't know you did that, but that's cute. Okay,
well, they just... Don't tell them about it. Don't tell them about it. Let them wonder. The whole video, they'd be like, what is it?
So, so you have... It says 5 modules. I guess there are 5 modules.
Yeah. So there's the threads... There's the stones. There's the board. No, this is the...
Oh, God.
Oh, no!
Oh, we lost! Wait, no, I just got it. There was still, like, one.
Are you...
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay, there's...
So
there's...
I was going to do it, too. I even, like, realized... Okay.
Okay,
anyway.
so, yeah, there's the threads.
So there's... Okay, wait, but... all right.
Threads.
So, I mean, you'll find that out by looking at the rule book. Of course, you're going to read the rule book, but I will say this is one that we were kind of, like, having to work it out a little bit. So I think this is a good one, too, for you to, like... get more of like an introductory like thing to it, so that you don't have to go through the same level of strenuous rule orientation. So there's 5 modules. 3 out of the 5 are nice standalone ones. You have this one that has the wheel. Okay.
Everything's got a deck of cards.
All of the four of the modules have a deck of cards. So this goes together, okay?
These are player screens.
So that's one module. Then there's this thread. Let's just go ahead and do it. Then there's this thread module, which you line up the things, and the cards tell, so this is one module. And so you line up the threads, and it shows you then how to solve where the thing is. That's one module.
Like puzzles.
Another, and then the third of the 5 standalone modules is this shape, or is that's not what they called that?
No, we lost it. I was sitting there holding it too and going like,
well, we have to at least do it for another minute.
Okay.
And wait, what was this one called again?
This is the stones.
The stones.
The
okay,
stones.
That's the shapes. This is stones.
Yeah.
So this is the shapes module. So you've got 36 of these, they call them...
No, these are the stones.
These are the stones?
These are stones. These are shapes.
Stones. Okay. So these are... Okay, so...
And it comes with this nifty keyboard.
Everything is a little confusing on getting to know this game, but it's actually very easy once you do.
It's all a puzzle, even the game.
36 stones, okay?
Yeah.
So when they say stones, this is what they mean, and they're okay. Right,
and then
and then it comes with this little key in this, and then here's this deck of cards.
I'm just cheating. I cheated.
Okay, I'm bad at that. Okay, and then the 4th module is the shapes, which includes these 6 pedestal circle thingies. Okay, and then the black and white shape ones, and then that deck of cards.
Deck of cards again. Now this one is interesting because it's different from all the others in that this is a 2-player one, so you can't play this module without at least 3 players.
Right. Okay. I did it that time.
Yeah.
Yay. Right.
So
right, you have to have 3 players because you can't. At first, I thought that meant, if we just wanted to play only this one module with 2 people, we could. But we determined no, because someone else has to have the card that the 2 players are not privy to this information to successfully play. So you have to be playing with at least 3 players to use the shapes module.
Right. Okay. So each thing has a deck of cards, and these are like the clues and the answer to each puzzle. And the answer to each puzzle is a 5-letter word. And
no matter which module.
Right, yeah, no matter which module.
Out of the 4, let's say that.
Yeah, and but what it is, so if I'm playing the stones, right, somebody else at the table will have the card that I won't get to see. And then they'll use that to tell me how to decipher the puzzle.
Right. So the 5th module is what we've been doing this whole time with the hourglass.
Yeah.
That's the 5th module. So first when it said 2 to 5 players, I thought, 5 modules, 5 players. No, this is the 5th module here is just a little additional fun thing that you add into the game to make it more challenging and stressful.
Surprisingly hard to keep up with.
Yeah. And we haven't even really used it for an actual game. And so the 5 players, the up to 5 players comes from 1, 2, 3, and then
4, 5.
4, 5 there.
Yeah.
So if you're just 2 people like us, you're never going to be able to use this module. You're just
right
gonna
until
have
you
to
have friends over.
With these 3 and the extra module.
Right.
So one person is in charge of one set of the thing that helps you solve the clues, and the other person's the other one, and then you basically have each other's card from the thing, and then you can describe anything on the card
except for the answer.
Okay, except for basically just telling them the word. Maybe we should just be done with this by now.
Well, we're on a good streak right now. Let's see how long we can keep going. And when next time we fail it, we'll just...
Okay. So that's basically the gist of how you play it. So this one, I mean, I think that, if you get this game, which I think you should, it's very
if you
new.
Like puzzles.
Yeah.
If you like puzzles.
And like I said, it's different, which is nice. It is different.
Yes.
And I think it would be really fun in a party situation, given the fact that it has up to 5 people. It's a little bit of a difficult party situation.
Yeah, well, because anytime you play games with a group of friends, and no one ever arrives at the same time. So the moment you start playing a game, you get through the explanation, you start playing, boom, more people show up, and then you're like, great. Now that just kind of throws off,
Yeah. Well, and 5 is kind of a wonky number too, because if you have couples and if you have 3 sets of couples,
but hey, if you've got 2 couples and someone who plays the 5th wheel all the time,
then it's
great.
perfect. But there's just, I really feel like there should be more like 6-player games. That's really kind of a sweet spot that we've kind of hit on a couple times. And
6 is a good number for playing games.
And I think this particular game, these modules, I think would get really it would get annoying if you were trying to team up on one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you were trying to team up on one, it wouldn't work.
There are definitely games that we have that I would recommend. Yeah, easy. You can team up on and expand your player count. But this one, I think it would get really annoying.
So for me, one of the things that I really like about this game is that the whole time you're trading off of giving clues and receiving clues, solving your own puzzle, and helping someone else solve theirs. That's what I really like. And then the whole thing is under a clock. So you're trying to, speed up and go, but also not give a wrong clue or not misinterpret one of the clues for yourself.
This is another quote-unquote cooperative game in that way, that you're all working together to beat the clock rather than against each other.
Right, which I like.
Yeah, me too.
I certainly like my fair share of competitive style games, but I really like cooperative games because cooperative games tend to lend themselves a little easier to introducing non-board game players to them because they're not going, well, I don't know what I'm doing. Well,
but that's not necessarily something you could say for this one, because you do have to really have a grasp on what the rules of your particular module are, And I will say that...
some of it's a little confusing.
Yeah. I'll say that this one, we started with stones. I would probably say first time out of the box, start with wheel and threads.
Wheel and thread,
okay?
yeah.
I'd say first thing out of the box, 2 players, 2 people, start with wheel and threads, okay?
Yeah.
Because they're the most straightforward with the way the cards work.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're done with this.
Yeah.
Okay, it's fun, but it's fun while it lasted.
So the deal with that is that when you have it's a sand timer, 30 seconds I think is what it is, and you can't flip it over alone. You have to hold down the button, which is this.
To someone else.
Right, and then while you're holding it down, you can't work on a puzzle, give clues, you can't speak at all. And then someone else has to notice that you did that, and then they can flip the timer while your hand's on it.
Yeah, people probably have figured it out, but anyway, it is fun. It's fun, but it's definitely something that I think is good confined to like a shorter puzzle time frame.
And now that is not the clock I'm talking about being under. There's actually a time limit. That's just a 30-second timer. But then you have, for example, the two of us we're playing with 2 modules. We have a overall 8-minute timer to complete our puzzles.
Well, there is supposedly an app which we didn't download.
Yeah,
because I think you couldn't find it on your.
I don't think it was on Android, so it might only be on Apple, which is a criticism.
On there.
Androids
I
are
don't even
people
know.
too.
Or just maybe it was buggy and they took it off. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. But it's one of those things where it's like, on one hand, it's
you don't
cool
need the app.
for them to like offer something like that. On the other hand,
it's needed.
It's kind of burdensome in that sense of like you definitely don't want them to require something like that of you when you're playing a tabletop game, when that's like usually the point is you're getting away from your phone and stuff.
Yeah. But I really like this game overall.
Yeah, so it's just they give you like a little points thing that shows you like how many points you would get if you can solve the puzzles within a certain period of time according to that chart, and that's how you kind of compete against yourself to beat the clock.
Right. So I really like the game overall. My only real criticism of it is that in certain sections of the rule book, it's not really clear. Mm-hmm. And specifically the stones,
especially the
section.
Stones.
We had a real issue for a little bit trying to understand the stones, and it's because in the part of the rules where it shows you how to solve it, it doesn't properly.
A little bit. It does it kind of flat out contradicts it, because on one space it says color with any, and then if you go to the other thing it says color of the word.
Right.
And it's
right. So what it is that it doesn't properly explain what you need to look for, and then it only gets that in the like, here's the example turn kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so beyond that though, I feel like the instructions are pretty good.
Yeah. But that's why I would, don't start with this one, because you don't want to get like that frustrated at first, and it is fun.
We thought we had a misprint card for a little bit because of it.
But you have to kind of, it's one that is a little bit more like, okay, I have to remember what the word thing, if it's colored, if it's not, and if it's missing this other one, because some of them are missing the other one, and I think that's part of where we got confused.
Yeah.
Because it's not not each indicator is on every card.
Every card, right.
So just take a little time figuring that out and doing a couple of sample ones before you throw somebody into the lion's den with that.
Right. But speaking of the cards, though, that's actually one of the things, the way the game is set up is you have all of these cards are different puzzles and solutions. Mm-hmm. And it lends itself to a lot of replayability. Yeah. Like a lot. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like a serious amount of replayability, because you could get, if it's, I'm not going to count the cards here on camera, but I think probably it's like 50-something cards.
That's a typical deck of cards.
Yeah, and then it's supposed to be 2 per game, so you could have 20-something games of this if if you just make sure to not use cards you've had before and never see a repeat card.
And even at that point, if you keep playing, and even if another one comes up in another 10 rounds,
by the time it comes, you're not going to remember Not to mention,
and then somebody else might have it, even if they're the ones giving it instead of like getting the clues. So it does. It has a lot of replayability.
A ton of replay, which is great. Anything in the board game, tabletop game space that has a lot of replayability like that is great. Like some games, we were talking about this the other day with some friends. Some games, especially cooperative ones, once you understand the game, is almost impossible to lose. But this is one where there's so much replayability, there's so much variability in it that you could play this 100 times and probably still be like, oh, I got confused, or we just missed the time mark, you know. And
and one of the other kind of fun things, and when I had looked, so we talked about this on the unboxing or whatever a little bit, was that, you know, the 3 to 10 minutes thing being intriguing. And it's like, okay, technically it's 3 to 10 minutes, but I was saying, I feel like it's a little gimmicky. Like, you're not going to just play for 3 to 10 minutes because you have to get everything out, and you're not going to just play one time through and that's it. If you're getting everything out and going through everything, it's not like a card game. You're just like, oh, let's play Go Fish for 3 minutes or whatever. It's, you know, but so that's one thing about it. Is that while each round is fairly quick, you're gonna want to like play a few times.
You're gonna want to spend at least, I would say, probably at least a half hour anytime you break out the game, doing multiple rounds, and like
to feel like
you know.
And then what I also do feel like is a good tip with this was, you know, to like get sort of a fun language between the players while you're playing, with how to describe these symbols. So, and
these symbols are found across the whole, all the modules.
All the modules have these same symbols.
Yeah. And they're all really interesting. Like we called one a Donald Trump because it kind of looks like that kind of character. There's one I'm holding in my hand that we started calling the hairbrush because it looks like a hairbrush, you know. And so you get, it's funny.
One is like looks sort of like a pitchfork, so we're just saying pitchfork.
Right.
You know, one of them.
Some of them is
like
the attitude stance.
7, right? The attitude thing.
Yeah, the high heel.
Yeah, we haven't played it enough to have one for everyone. And then if we were to have a game with other people, that might kind of start over from scratch for some people, you know, like you don't want to just be like, oh, well, it's the Donald. They're going to be like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, so, the third grade K.
Yeah, right, the third grade K, you know, so then you can kind of have that. And that's a fun element and can kind of like also increase your ability to do the game more effectively once you would have that language, because you do spend a lot of time right out of the box going, the one that's like kind of squiggly on the top and then sort of on the side and then it like goes in the middle and you're like, and that's like,
but then once
you can just go third grade K, you're like, oh, okay, cool, that one. So
so the more you play it, the more you'll have these sort of understandings of what you're calling the symbols, which then is going to help you get through the puzzles. And that's part of the thing. So the clock is just like if you exceed this time, you fail. But it also has like scoring that if you do the puzzles in X amount of time or X amount of time remaining or whatever, then you get points. So if you're the type that kind of likes that sort of high score chasing, this is another good one, because as you play with people and refine like the nicknames of the symbols and get things down and understand the puzzles more, you can start chasing times of being like, okay, let's complete all of our modules in 5 minutes, you know?
Yeah. So maybe cons of or downsides, or like things to be cautious of additionally, I'd say like I would think depending on different personalities of people could be annoying sometimes with this game. Like maybe there are some types of friends that you might have in your friend group that are like, oh my god, like you're doing this so slow, or you're doing this so fast, or would you stop doing this one thing, or you know what I mean? That I could see, like, if you have somebody that's not gonna pick up on things very quickly, and they're like, okay, so you're gonna look for the things, and you're like, okay, so give me the next thing, you know, like, so you kind of have to have like chill people that are gonna be like able to work well, and kind of be like on an even footing, so you don't end up feeling like, oh, well, I'm so fast and they're so slow, or something like that. So that's one thing.
Yeah, if you have a group that's like real competitive in nature, and you know, are going to rag each other for whatever, then maybe this is not the game for you.
I think you have to be like in a good, like, lighthearted mood with everybody. I think this isn't,
because you're gonna fail a couple times. And this
probably isn't like a good end of the night game. You know?
This is a game to be played at the beginning of your
to maybe get everybody like sort of warmed up, and like, you know.
I agree.
Yeah.
But it's a great game.
So, it is. It's okay, so the best things, number one, is it has like the coveted differentness factor.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It has like, it's more unique, it has interesting things.
Dare I say innovative?
Yeah, the innovative factor. You know, two, not a super hard entry level. Like, if you understand how to play, you could pretty easily explain to new players how to play.
Definitely.
So if at least you, as the owner of the game, spend a little time to understand how the modules work and how the game works. Pretty straightforward. You go, here, you're going to play this module, you're going to play this module, I'm going to play this module, and then, you know, here's how you do the things on the card, and there you go. And somebody would just have to, like, maybe watch one or two rounds, and they pretty much understand what's going on.
Yeah. At least as far as one module is concerned, they would understand.
Right. Three, it looks nice and has cool parts. I guess that's kind of
the tactile
the tactile
thing of
aspect of it is nice.
It's very nice. Yeah.
You don't need a lot of space. Like,
not really.
You don't really need
just
a lot
if
of
you've
space.
got table
space,
on
the floor even, really, which you can't say for a lot
every
of games.
Yeah, if you've got the table space to seat 5 people at a table, that's more than enough. Yeah. Even if you're touching.
But like
elbows.
other games that require you to set things out, you don't really need this. You could do this on the floor if you needed to, or like on a coffee table and give people just their module. That's a plus. So then cons would be awkward number of players, a little bit, sort of.
Yeah. My actual big con as far as number of players is that this module cannot be played by 2 players.
Right.
That's my con, is that there's a whole section of the game that for 2 player only can't be used.
Right.
And
it's good in adding complexity, but bad in sort of adding complexity. You know, like so. And then
cons, the point in the rule book or 2 that's unclear, which when you're talking about a game of puzzles and then it's unclear about how you're supposed to work those puzzles, that's not good. That's not good rules writing, but that's forgivable.
Yeah. You know, okay. And then 3, just don't play with like butt heads. Yeah. But that's pretty much any game.
Yep.
And then and then tips would be make sure that you know, understand how the modules work as like a head gameplay person, because that's not going to be fun in that sense to try to explain what we went through. It's kind of, you know, but once you get through that, it's fun. So Curio
would recommend.
Definitely
piqued my curiosity.